The usual response to the watchmaker argument, I don't think it really satisfies theists. It wouldn't really satisfy me because the response isn't really getting at the core of what the argument is talking about. The response really tells the theist, I know you see complexity in the universe, but don't call it design. It still doesn't answer the core of the question, which is, how can seemingly designed complexity exist in a universe without a designer? That's really what they're getting at, and you're just telling them, hey, I don't care about that, just don't call it design. Call it complexity. I'll give you a brief overview of the watchmaker argument. It's that you're walking along the beach, and you find a watch on the floor, and you would look at it and you say, oh, this is a very complex, well-crafted, purposeful thing in my hand. Clearly, a thinking agent created this. And because so many other things in nature can be looked at as also being very well thought out, crafted, purposeful things, you should also look at them and understand that they were designed by a thinking agent. And the response that you'll hear mostly is, the reason you know that that's designed isn't because it's complicated, it's because you know what a watch is, and you know that watches come from watchmakers. So it's kind of dismissive of what their real problem is, and I'm here to address that. I have a better solution to the watchmaker argument that will satisfy a theist more fully. The reason seemingly designed things appear to be in our world is because a brain and the universe go about solving problems in the same way, except a brain will think about all possible solutions and will arrive at the one it thinks will solve the problem at hand. A universe, instead of thinking, it uses time. With enough time, it will attempt so many things, and with enough time, we'll reach the same solution you reached as a thinking agent. We all live in the same universe with the laws of nature. Only a specific type of thing can accomplish a specific goal. For instance, only a creature with the specific characteristics of a bird can fly. That's why a bird and an airplane have so many similar design characteristics. So a brain thinks, and a universe attempts over time. That's why they both arrive at the same conclusions. So both the brain and the universe need to overcome the same obstacles to achieve the same result. That's why nature seems to have been created by a thinking agent, because for all intents and purposes, it kind of was. So I want to offer a visual exercise that should help you understand what I'm talking about. So I want you to picture two giant cubes, one stacked on the other. These two cubes represent two universes. The universe on the top is full of all kinds of crazy, weird shapes and sizes of matter just moving around in all directions, bouncing into each other like a video game glitch. Nothing makes sense. Complete chaos. The universe on the bottom, this cube is full of virtually perfect little marble-sized spheres. The whole thing's full of these little marbles. It's like a gumball machine. Which of these two universes do you see design in? And the theist would likely say, well, the universe that's full of the perfect little spheres. And that's when I'd add what I left out of the premise of this little visual exercise. It's that at the beginning of time, the universe on the bottom was completely empty. And there's a little marble-sized hole between these two cubes that joins them. So over time, with all these random shapes and patterns and pieces of matter bouncing into each other, eventually, with enough time, a small little marble-sized sphere is formed, and with enough time of it bouncing around in this random chaotic universe, it slipped through the hole leading to the other cube. And with enough time, that kept happening over and over again, and with even more time, the cube on the bottom gets full of marbles. So do you see how seemingly designed elements can come from a chaotic universe? A human would look at that little hole between the cubes and say, well, I can fit little marbles through here. It wouldn't need to attempt every single shape and size until marbles just happen to come about and fit through there. Because that's the difference between how a universe does things and how a brain thinks about things. Well, that just about covers it. I hope this little visual exercise might be able to help some theists who kind of are still stuck on the watchmaker argument. And I hope that this response to it is more satisfying than the traditional response.